Hey gamers, welcome to another episode of the PTGC podcast. My name is Gerard and joining me is my co-host, Gio. Say hi.
Yep.
If you like our content, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more episodes. We release this podcast weekly, so make sure you check us out. And our other co-host here, that's usually here, Mike, is on vacation, so he won't be joining us this week. But on to our today's episode. We'll be talking about the recent complaint put forth by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, if you live in America or outside of America, that has been put against Microsoft. Now, this isn't the first complaint that Microsoft has from the FTC, but it is the latest one for sure. And the details about this complaint are quite simple. Gio, I believe you have more details than I do. Would you like to explain?
Well, basically, what's going on with the FTC is a lot of the concerns they had originally when they were going through the approval process of the acquisition is basically coming to light. All the concerns involving basically the price hikes involving the Game Pass, as well as acquiring Activision, as basically monopolizing it in a sense, but also just going back on their word and not taking care of their audience, their customer base. So now it's becoming more of a business move in favor of Microsoft and not in favor of us, the gamers.
Yeah. And this is not, as I said before, it's not the first complaint. The complaint that FTC had earlier was like when the acquisition of Activision and Blizzard happened. That was honestly the worst of it, because their promises that Activision made towards the FTC was that they wouldn't fire anyone, they wouldn't change any prices, and that they'd be presenting to the consumer a better gaming experience. That complaint was made the moment that the I don't want to say the buy was up, but like when the contract was signed and it's like, hey, we like to buy this company, and the FTC was like, no. And then the delay of it was the reasoning behind when Blizzard and Activision had majority of their employees cut when Microsoft bought them. They were like, well, this was delayed so long, we lost so much money, we had to do this, and that was the reasoning. But I don't think there's any reasoning that Microsoft has for this new complaint with the Game Passes and things like that, especially with like the tier systems that they currently have being basically reworked. So if you don't know the current, or if you're not an Xbox player, the current Game Passes, so you have regular Game Pass, which is $10.99. I think they degraded it down to $9.99 now, which includes Xbox Live, online multiplayer services.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox Live is what was that used to be called back in the day. Then you have discounts and services, and currently you would be able to access 25 high quality games, streaming them. Then you have your PC Game Pass, which is more robust, but without Xbox Live, without console online play. You'll have your streaming services for video games, more than 25. You have EA Play, this Electronic Arts Play, which is basically a third-party login service. You'll have members discounts and things like that, and also the ability to look at Microsoft.
One.
Yeah, play games day one. And then you have your Ultimate, which includes both of what the console Game Pass has and the PC Game Pass. You have all of that. But that's an additional like $3 more. It's like $14.99, while the PC one was $11.99. But what they propose in their new filing is to have 4 tiers. So you have Core, Standard, PC, and the Ultimate. PC is relatively unchanged, which is weird. And then you have Core and Standard. Standard is the old just Game Pass, the old standard Game Pass, with a price inject to like $11.99 to match the PC one. And then you have a Core, which is removal, just the online services. It's just Xbox Live. If you have ever had Xbox Live in the beginning, I know I mentioned it multiple times. It is the same thing, just being able to play online with your friends, and that is the price of $9.99 a month. So if you just want to play with friends, guess what? You could just get Core. But if you want to have access to those online games, the streaming games, you actually can't get that on Standard. Standard doesn't let you play on day one. The only way to get day one access is to either have PC or on your console. Only Ultimate gives you that option. So you won't have any Ultimate options, or you won't have day one options unless you get the Ultimate, which the FTC feels, rightly so, that you're degrading your product, and you said you wouldn't do that. That feels like they're screwing over consumers that have been long, consistent, paying for their subscription, and that things that were promised for day one is not available to the everyday user for their Game Passes. They actually have to upgrade to the Ultimate version to get that, which is not cheap. It is not cheap for Ultimate. $15 a month is $170 a year. It's $170 a year.
It's a fair price, but then they jacked it up. They jacked it up on top of that.
Is Ultimate even more expensive?
Yeah. Is now it's going up to $20. Well, it was originally $7. Well, last time they changed it was $17. So currently it's $17 or $16.99. Mm-hmm. Now it's going to go up to $20. So $3 increase there. On top of that, like you were stating, the degrading of the product. So your original Game Pass that gave you the same benefits that Standard does, you're having to pay more for what you were paying for before for the same product. And they're just adding it as a new tier. They're stating it's something different, but it's really not. And basically, when you mentioned it, I thought about it. I was like, crap. Core is basically like when you had Xbox Live Silver and Xbox Live Gold. That's basically what it is. Standard is just the Xbox Live Gold now. That's all it is.
True.
So I'm with the FTC on that because it doesn't look good. Like what Microsoft is doing, it looks shady as hell. Yes. And you know, some of the things you just look at. So like basically, like percentage wise, the Game Pass now you're paying an 81% increase because you were originally paying, you said $11.99.
Yeah. So $11.99.
Standard is now $14.99. So you're still having to pay a $3 difference for the same thing you were just paying for a few months ago at $11.99. And then there was a stipulation actually that stated if players signed up, if they did a yearly sign up again before July 12th, they would have kept the $11.99. But now anything after July 12th now is at the new price.
It is crazy. That's crazy.
So I think, like I said, I think the PC Game Pass going up $2, you know, that's another thing too. One of the things I read though also was them stating, you know, they feel like this is them trying to make up for that $68 billion spending that they did. But at the same time, that's what the Federal Trade Commission was asking them. Like, listen, this is a lot of money. Are you okay with? Do you have this to spend? This is free money that you have to spend, like, and not change anything, and still keep these people employed. And now it's backfiring, and now we're the ones that are going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, and the details on this, and I posted in the link, or posted down below in the description, will be a link to the FTC's complaints and all the like drama that's happened since the beginning of this year and beginning of last year, basically, with this whole merger. But the details on this has been spanning and going back and forth between Microsoft complaining to the FTCs on why this doesn't make any sense and why these complaints are like unfounded, and then immediately the FTC gets proof and or I don't want to say recognition, but like vindicated in their concerns when Microsoft immediately does what the FTC was worried about. So they're like, we've watched you do this before. We don't know if we can do this again. And that is a very well-founded reason. But let's let's talk about one important thing, and I think this is the idea. What would happen? Let's say the FTC can't do anything. Let's just say this goes through the new subscriptions. Okay, the community obviously won't be happy. So what would you think the community does? Do you think people would not pay for the subscription base? Do you think they upgrade? Do you think there would be a large gap between all the people? And for this question alone, just let's exclude the PC players. Let's just talk about the console players, because that's what I believe is the most money coming from, are the people that are playing on console.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was going to say,
yeah, go ahead.
personally, I know you said exclude the PC gamers, but I feel like this is going to make more people go towards PC. I feel like Xbox is actually going to hurt their Xbox console sales and their future one, because I know they have an announcement for a new Xbox coming out. So I feel like they're actually going to hurt themselves, because why would I do that? Why would I get the new system and then pay for a new, higher subscription fee when I can just go to PC Game Pass that costs less than Ultimate by like $12 or more, or $8, and I still get all the same benefits? And if you play on PC and you're a PC player, you know it's better to play on PC.
I will say that, and the reason why I wanted to exclude PC is because I feel like if you leave the console to go play on PC, you will feel burned that you might still not get the PC subscription because you're already upset about that system in the first place. So it could be, if you leave Xbox, you go on PC, you probably won't turn to getting an Xbox PC Game Pass. You might just stick with Steam and go with Ubi or EA or Epic on those kind of things. Because, like, if I'm going to play a subscription service, I'm going to do it for things I would like to actually enjoy. So we'll see how that turns out for PC gamers. But for Xbox gamers, I'm thinking more of some people might want to turn back and get hard copies of games again. Because I know Xbox has been pushing more DRM, especially with the new Xbox Series X that is going to have a no disk or no drive version of it, which allows people to just stay online and just download their games online, so they don't have to buy physical media. But this is a push towards also just going back to that. Just like, you're really pushing people away from like getting online services, especially with subscription, that the bare minimum I need to pay in order to use my Xbox, if I have that new like DRM only system, is $10. I need to pay $10 to make my Xbox work.
Well, the other thing I was just thinking about too, honestly, they might switch over to Sony, because Sony has the streaming services as well, and they're not charging more. And if you already burned your customer base the way you are by not sticking to your word, now you lost your customers' trust. So if I could get the same benefits from Sony, and Sony's not doing any price hike currently, you know what? And they have, let's be honest, they have a lot of better single player games. And like you said, if you're going to go that route of hard disk, you might just go the route of going to Sony and just say, forget Xbox. That's why I say I feel like they're going to hurt their console sales greatly by doing this.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there are also the loyal fanboys, which I won't exclude. But I even think I think the loyal fan base, even though they'll play on the Xbox and things like that, I don't know if all of them will switch to the Ultimate Pass. I think a lot of them will just stay on standard if that's the case, because Core will just give me Xbox Live. Sure, if I go standard, I'll get everything that's old, but I will have to, like, in my mind, I'll just this is a price increase. This is a price hike. So I'm just like, my new subscription is now more expensive. That's what it comes down to.
Well, here's the thing too. Like, so, all right, you being part of the gaming industry as well, I would think these streaming services, like, yes, I get it. Like, when it comes to, we've talked about this before. I get it when it comes to like the movie, TV show stuff. I get it because they do original content and stuff like that. What I don't understand is these companies from the gaming world, because now you're saving money on not making as many discs. Like, being in the retail world, I saw the difference when it started becoming more of, hey, I could just download it online, compared to 10 years ago when you had to get a physical copy more often than not. So like, we would get an abundance of, especially like the highly anticipated games, we get an abundance of those CDs and stuff like that. So you're saving all that money. You're not manufacturing the same way. You're not having as much labor. So it's like, why are you still continuing to price hike these subscriptions when they were supposed to save the consumer money? Now it doesn't feel that way.
Yep. It is a sad thing to just think about how often the Microsoft has been kind of just screwing over its consumer base, but then they like mentions like, I have more money now, my quarterly sales are increased and things like that. So it is feel bad, especially for the consumers and businesses. But more importantly, like, and I think I wanted to talk about this. If Microsoft lets this pass, what else do you think they'll get away with? Because like this would be the second time the FTC has brought up a complaint, and that what they wanted has gone through. Maybe it's delayed by a few months or maybe even a year in the case of the merger. But if they could just figure out like, all right, we've gotten through two things that people complained about, but we got them. We got our way on that. What do you think is the third thing? Because like the first one is the merger, which that one may be like, can be argued just like, all right, it's not really a monopoly. The FTC's was a little bit too much, but like this one is a price hike that they basically degrading a product that was the FTC asked for it to stay the same, and they degraded that. And now what's the next step? Because like if Xbox or Microsoft doesn't have any fears of the FTC or anything else, like the next step in my mind is an increase on console sales or increasing on how much games cost overall. Because like there's been like the rumor and the sentiment about like games, like AAA games specifically, are no longer going to be $60, going to be $70, and that's a push that I honestly think that would come to pass if this goes through. I think that's going to come to pass regardless, in my opinion. But what do you think? What are your thoughts, Gio?
Well, I think it's going to get passed because, I mean, let's be realistic. The budgeting for games is increasing every year. Realistically, inflation impacts that. So I think that's going to happen. I don't think that's so much them getting away with something. I think every game industry is going to do that. What I will say, though, is that you kind of alluded to it. And this is what the FTC was kind of afraid of, is that they're kind of exercising their market power right now at post-merger, because now they're just doing what they feel like, and with nobody kind of like no kind of like law or rules to kind of hold them back from doing it. It is kind of scary because I don't know what that third thing's going to be, but I don't feel like the game's going from 60 to 70 is part of that, because I think they could have just state, like I said, oh, game budgets are more expensive, and if you want higher quality games, you got to pay money. I get it.
Yeah,
to an extent.
My thoughts are, though, I do think it's going to happen inevitably, but I feel like if this goes through, and this is like a lose-lose in my opinion, if this goes through, if like the price hike goes through, there will be a delay before the switch to $70. If it fails and FTC says no, you can't increase your price, I do think immediately, like maybe a month or two, the games for all Microsoft will go up to 70.
But by the holiday season, absolutely. Yes, it'll go right up.
I think it's if this doesn't go through, and this is personally, one, I'm not a lawyer, and two, I'm not economics. But I believe that if it fails, the price hike, within the year, all games will go up on Microsoft Store. All the pricing will go up.
Well, so what I'm afraid of is the third thing, because I just thought about it, is everybody's going to follow suit. Because if you're allowing Microsoft to get away with it, now everybody's going to start doing it. And what's going to be, oh, no, you can't do it, but we let Microsoft?
Yeah. The precedent is high, especially for Sony. The Sony will definitely see, hey, Microsoft is getting away with a lot of things. Let's try to do something as well. Because obviously the FTC is just allowing them to do these things. We can probably push forward and do this. And then we come closer to a corporate America. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, but another thing is like with these slow pushes, Sony can get away with like, also increasing their games to $70 if Microsoft does it, or increasing the price of their online service if Microsoft gets away with it. So the following suit is like, hey, if they increase theirs by $8, we can increase ours by $4.
They're going to degrade their product also. It's basically what they're going to do, because I guarantee you they'll add a new tier.
Probably won't add a new tier, but they probably. I don't know about the new tier. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I'm not 100% on that, but I do think I'm like 90% sure they increase the price if Microsoft gets their way. Because like increasing the price is one thing. Making a new tier is the real reason why FTC is jumping in and complaining in the first place. Because like you're degrading a product, you're not increasing the price. You're degrading a product and creating a new product that has the exact same thing as the old product, but increased price. So,
and essentially, this is what the FTC was afraid of, because it's going to be the consumers that suffer the most. Because, like you said, if Sony follows suit, even if they don't do the same increase, we're still paying more. It's still impacting our gaming experience.
Exactly. And Sony is definitely the one that is probably looking closest to the FTC, this complaint and then the hearing, which still hasn't concluded. FTC is going to be talking about this. It probably will be talked about for a couple of months, but we'll see the aftermath, and we'll also see Sony's reaction, because I do think they're the company that's watching closely.
Oh yeah. So, whenever a decision's made, that's exactly when Sony's gonna make their move.
Yes, I'm pretty sure they know before us. I'm pretty sure they paid somebody, and there's a lobbyist. Yeah. They have inside people. They're knowing all the inner workings right now. They're probably not making any like hard pushes, because they did try in the first FTC with the merger, and that didn't go through. All it did was delay. So probably right now they're just listening closely. Do you have any final remarks? Any closing statements?
No, I mean, I think I said everything I needed to say involving that. I don't agree with it, and like you said, we'll see how it plays out.
Yep. All right. That is all from us, folks. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. And if you have any questions, make sure you post them down below, because I'm pretty sure the FTC would like to hear it, because they're a government agency and they always have ears. All right. See you guys next time. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Part-Time Gamers podcast. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And follow us on our other social platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. Links for those will be provided in the description. Thank you again. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. And make sure you make some time for video games. Peace.